Hello friends, welcome to Mechanical Engineering online classes.
In this session, let us learn about Porter governor. Porter governor is a modification of VAT governor, which consists of central load attached to the sleeve as shown here. So this central load W will move up and down on the central spindle, the green one. This additional downward force W will increase the revolution speed that is required to enable the balls, the fly balls, to raise to any predetermined position. In order to analyze Porter governor, let us consider forces acting on one side of the governor. Now, so this is one side of the governor. Now, let small w be the weight of each ball taken in newtons, where small m is the mass of each ball in kilogram. The mass of the central load, if it is capital M, such that W is equal to capital Mg, at this point C, the weight acting is capital W by 2, half of the central load acts from point C. Let the vertical angle, the angle of inclination of the lower link with the vertical be beta, and the angle of inclination of the upper link or the arm with vertical be alpha. This vertical distance from P to B is h, which is the height of the governor in meters. Let r be the horizontal distance from the axis of rotation to the ball center, measured in meters. If Fc is the centrifugal force acting on the ball is taken in Newton, that can be written as mr omega square, where omega is the angular velocity of balls measured in radian per second. If capital N is the speed of balls in RPM. Now, let us consider the tensions in the arms. This is T1, the force in arm from B to P is T1. In the lower link or arm, let that be T2. So these are the forces that are acting on one side of the governor. The meaning of every letter used in the diagram is written here. Small m is the mass of each ball taken in kilogram, where small w is the weight of each ball measured in Newton as small m into g. Similarly, capital M and capital W, they are the mass and weight of central load of the sleeve respectively, taken in kg and Newton respectively. Small r is the horizontal distance from the axis of rotation to the ball center measured in meters, whereas small h is the height of the governor in meters. Capital N is the speed of balls in RPM, and omega is the angular velocity of balls in radian per second. Fc is the centrifugal force acting on the ball measured in Newton. It can be calculated as mr omega square. T1 and T2 are the tensions in arm and links respectively measured in Newton. Alpha and beta are the angle of inclination of the upper arm and the lower link with vertical respectively with the vertical. Considering equilibrium of forces acting at point C, at C we have two forces. Sigma Fy equal to 0. This is one of the equilibrium conditions. So at C point we have one capital W by 2 and the other is T2. So this is beta. So we can find the component of T2 along the vertical. So that will be T2 cos beta. So the vertical forces at point C are these. So minus W by 2 plus T2 cos beta is equal to 0. So T2 cos beta is equal to W by 2, or T2 is equal to W is nothing but capital Mg divided by 2 cos beta. We have found T2 in terms of beta and capital M. Let this be equation number 1. Now let us consider equilibrium of forces that are acting at point B. So at point B, this is point B, then there is an Fc acting leftward. There is a weight of the ball, small w, as small m into g, and apart from just this, there is tension in the arm and the link T1 and T2. So when we are writing the FBD of a particular point or any set of it, tension always acts away from the point of interest. So T1 is this, T2 is this. So let us resolve T1 and T2 along the horizontal and vertical. So here will be T1 cos alpha, this will be T1 sin alpha. Similarly, this is T2 sin beta and this is T2 cos beta. So let us consider sigma fx equal to 0 first. So Fc is along x, it is in left direction, so I am taking it as minus Fc. T1 sin beta and T2 sin beta are towards right, so we can add them up. T1 sin alpha plus T2 sin beta. So these are the only three forces acting along x-axis. So this is equal to 0. T1 sin alpha is equal to Fc minus T2 sin beta. In place of T2, let us write mg by 2 cos beta from equation 1. So this is mg by 2 cos beta into sin beta, or T1 sin alpha is equal to Fc minus mg by 2 into tan beta. Let this be equation number 2. Now let us consider another equilibrium condition, sigma Fy equal to 0. So at point B, all the sum of all vertical forces must be 0 for the equilibrium to be maintained in vertical direction at point B. So considering all the upward forces as positive and the downward forces negative, we can write this as minus small w minus T2 cos beta plus T1 cos alpha is equal to 0, or T1 cos alpha is equal to small w plus T2. Again, in place of T2, we can write capital Mg by 2 cos beta into cos beta, or T1 cos alpha is equal to small w, which is nothing but small mg, plus this is capital Mg by 2. You can cancel out these two, so it becomes this. Let this be equation number 3. Dividing equation 2 and 3, 2 by 3, we get T1 sin alpha by T1 cos alpha on the LHS is equal to Fc minus capital Mg by 2 tan beta. This entire expression is divided by small mg plus half capital Mg, or we can cancel out T1 and T1. This becomes tan alpha, and on cross multiplication we have tan alpha multiplied by small mg plus half of capital Mg. This is equal to Fc minus capital Mg by 2 into tan beta. This can be again written as small mg plus capital Mg by 2 is equal to Fc by tan alpha minus capital Mg by 2 into tan beta by tan alpha. Let tan beta by tan alpha be written as Q. From now on, let us denote this as Q. And from the figure, we know that this is R, this is H. So tan alpha is nothing but R by H. Since tan alpha is R by H, we can write this as small mg plus capital Mg by 2 is equal to, Fc is nothing but mr omega square divided by tan alpha is R by H minus capital Mg by 2 into Q. Or if we try to simplify the RHS side, we can cancel out this R and R. This becomes mh omega square minus mg by 2 into Q. This is nothing but small mg plus capital Mg by 2. Now, if mh omega square is taken on to LHS side, let us write it this way. By sending capital Mg by 2 into Q on the other side, we have mh omega square is equal to small mg plus capital Mg by 2 plus capital Mg by 2 into Q. Or this can be written as, if we take capital Mg by 2 and capital Mg by 2 common, we have capital Mg by 2 into 1 plus Q. This entire RHS is equal to mh omega square. Now let us write what is H, height of governor, from this. So that will become mg plus capital Mg by 2 into 1 plus Q. This entire expression must be divided by small m into omega square. So let us take g by omega square common. This can be written as small m plus capital M by 2 into 1 plus Q whole divided by small m multiplied by g by omega square. Let this be equation number 4, the height of the governor. Or otherwise we can write omega square in terms of the height of the governor. Yeah, just cross multiplying this. We can write omega square as small m plus capital M by 2 into 1 plus Q whole divided by small m into g by h. Let this be, say, equation number 5. Now omega is nothing but 2 pi capital N by 60. So 2 pi capital N by 60 whole square is nothing but capital small m plus capital M by 2 into 1 plus Q divided by small m into g by h. Or we can find n square from this. N square can be written as 60 by 2 pi whole square. So if we calculate 60 square by 4 pi square, this 60 square by 4 pi square is approximately 91.18 or 91.2. So n square is nothing but small m plus capital M by 2 into 1 plus Q whole divided by small m multiplied by g by h into this 91.2. So let this be the sixth equation, n square. In case the length of arms are equal, then tan alpha will be equal to tan beta, and in such a case Q will be equal to 1. So in such a case, substituting this Q as 1 in equation 6, we will have n square value as small m plus capital M whole divided by small m multiplied by g by h into 91.2. Let this be equation number 7. Now when the sleeve moves up and down along the spindle, then the frictional force, if the frictional force, it will act on the spindle against the direction of sleeve motion, like this. As frictional force always acts in the direction opposite to the direction of motion, here the motion will be of sleeve, so the friction will be against the motion of the direction of motion of sleeve. So in case friction is acting, then we have to modify our equation 6 and 7. Equation 6 will become, this is mg, I am taking this g inside, plus capital mg plus or minus friction force whole divided by 2. This is multiplied by 1 plus q. The entire expression is divided by small m and to 91.2 by h. This will be equation number, say, 6a, if in case q is not equal to 1. So in case q is equal to 1, then equation 7 will be modified if friction is acting as n square is equal to mg plus capital Mg plus or minus f divided by small m. This is multiplied by 91.2 by h. Let this be equation number 7a when q is equal to 1. So the frictional force F is once added, once removed. It is added and subtracted. The positive sign is used when the sleeve is moving upwards. In the speed of if the speed of governor is increasing, then the sleeve will move upward. The negative sign is used when the sleeve moves downward. The direction of capital Mg is always constant, weight always acts downward, but the sleeve will be moving up and down. Based on whether the sleeve is moving up or down, the frictional force will move opposite to that direction. So in case the sleeve is moving upwards, our mg is anyway acting downward. This capital W by 2, this is capital Mg, say. So mg is always acting downward. When the sleeve moves up, the frictional force also will act downward. So these two are added because they are in the same direction. In case the sleeve is moving downwards, that time the frictional force will be away from the motion, right? Opposite to it. That time F will be upward, but mg is anyway downward. So that time these two forces are subtracted, mg minus F, because they are in opposite direction. So based on the direction of sleeve sleeve motion, our F is either added or subtracted from mg. So hence we have made up plus or minus a general term. So this is the equation for n square when a frictional force is acting. If we wish to compare Watt governor to Porter governor in terms of the height of the governor, then it can be clearly understood, it can be clearly seen that in Watt governor the height of governor is 895. It's actually 894.672, but rounded off to 895 by n square measured in meters. If we want to check with the height of Porter, we can use this. This is 9.81. 9.81 into 91.2 is again 985 divided by, on cross multiplication, here comes n square, here comes h. So h is equal to 895 by n square multiplied by this ratio, which is m plus capital M by m. So it's clear that in this ratio is always greater than 1 because capital M is added. So the height of the governor compared to Watt in Porter, definitely the height of the governor is increasing in the ratio of m plus capital M by m. So this is a comparison in terms of the height of governor. Apart from just that, we can say that Watt governor is a pendulum type of centrifugal governor, whereas Porter governor is loaded type of centrifugal governor. Watt governor can be used for low speed range, whereas the Porter governor can be used for a high speed range. In Porter governor, the central load is attached to sleeve, whereas in VAT governor, there is no central load at all. These are the differences between the Porter and the VAT governor.
Thanks for watching. If this video was of help to you, please like it and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.